Hello there, you're watching Nightline. I'm Anita Wu. News making the headlines. AirAsia X named in Airbus corruption settlement. And Malaysians in Wuhan receive green light to return home. We begin with our headlining story. A UK newspaper reported that budget airlines AirAsia and its long-haul arm AirAsia X were among those who allegedly received $50 million or 240 million ringgit worth of bribes from European plane maker Airbus SE. According to The Telegraph, two executives at budget airlines AirAsia and AirAsia X have been mentioned in legal documents that listed instances of bribery by Airbus to secure contracts through corrupt middlemen to sell its aircraft worldwide. It is understood that the documents are part of a multi-billion-dollar settlement reached with anti-graft authorities in Britain, France and the US after the European plane maker admitted to endemic levels of bribery across its international business. Citing the documents attached to the settlement, The Telegraph reported that Airbus paid $50 million and offered $55 million more to sponsor a sports team linked to two unnamed key decision makers at AirAsia and AirAsia X. The report also said the airlines later ordered 180 aircraft from Airbus, and the two unnamed executives were rewarded in respect of the aircraft order, which was secured by way of improper payments as described by the court documents. Apart from Malaysia, the UK part of the settlement involves bribery allegations in Indonesia, Taiwan, Sri Lanka and Ghana between years 2011 and 2015. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has confirmed that it has already initiated investigations into corruption allegations involving AirAsia executives. Its Chief Commissioner, Latifah Koya, said the MACC was in touch with the authorities in the United Kingdom over the case. She said the MACC Act empowered the Commission to have jurisdiction to investigate any act of corruption committed by any Malaysian citizen or permanent resident in any place outside Malaysia. AirAsia, in the meantime, has vigorously rejected and denied any and all allegations of wrongdoing in reference to allegations on certain agreements by the company to order Airbus aircraft, which were linked to a sponsorship by Airbus of a sports team jointly owned by AirAsia executives. In a written statement regarding the deferred prosecution agreement entered into by Airbus SE and the UK Serious Fraud Office, SFO, on January 31st, it also stated that it was neither involved in any way whatsoever with the SFO's investigation of Airbus, nor given any opportunity to provide any information or clarification to the SFO. It also emphasised that all negotiations and dealings leading to the signing of any aircraft purchase agreement had been undertaken directly with Airbus on an arm's-length basis and without the involvement of any third parties or intermediaries. The airline also said that the involvement of Airbus in the sponsorship of the sports team was a well-known and widely publicised matter, bringing branding and other benefits to Airbus. The statement also expressed AirAsia's concern over the allegations that would have an adverse impact on the AirAsia brand, reputation and goodwill. A team of 6 officers from the Malaysian Embassy in China is on its way to Wuhan, the epicentre of the novel coronavirus outbreak, to coordinate efforts involving stranded Malaysians in the Hubei province capital city. According to Malaysian ambassador to China, Raja Datuk Nur Sriwan Zainal Abidin, in a phone interview, the team was deployed after the embassy received the green light from Wuhan authorities to carry out the task.
Well, it's a team of 6 people from the embassy who left Wuhan at 10:30 in the morning. So we're expecting them to arrive at midnight or slightly after today. That's the first point. The second point is their task is to prepare the ground for the eventual repatriation of the Malaysians to Malaysia. Third point is to date, there's about 120 people who have been listed as part of that repatriation exercise. Fourthly, the numbers may change depending on the situation, because the list is still being updated, and also depending on the discussions that our team there has with the authorities. So the next point is, so far we've been getting good cooperation from the Chinese government. Very thankful to them. They've been very accommodating to our requests. Yeah, and lastly, we hope that this evacuation process, we're quite confident that it will go quite well. Public transportation has been shut down in the city of Wuhan itself. We will try to get transportation. For those outside of Wuhan, we'll try to do the same, although movement is still being restricted. So for those cases, we will try to speak to the provincial government to give them permission to move from where they are located to Wuhan.
In the meantime, countries around the world have closed their borders to arrivals from China as the death toll from the coronavirus reached 259, with more than 11,000 of people having been infected as of Saturday. The US and Australia were the latest countries to deny entry to all foreign nationals who had recently visited China, after countries including Russia, Japan, Pakistan and Italy announced similar travel restrictions earlier in the day. Following the development, the Chinese government criticized the measures, saying it contradicted the World Health Organization's WHO's appeal to avoid travel bans and implied that Beijing was not doing enough to contain the virus's spread beyond China's borders. As of now, the total number of cases worldwide stands at 11,094. With 149 confirmed cases outside of China, including 7 in the US, 2 in the UK, 4 in Canada, 9 in Australia and 13 in Singapore. The young dipertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Rayayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, meanwhile, praised the government's quick action in preventing the spread of the 2019 novel coronavirus infection in the country. His Majesty said the government, however, has to continuously undertake precautionary measures, not compromising issues affecting the well-being of the people and the country.
Kita perlu ingat diri kita itu kita masih lagi juga menghadapi berbagai penyakit yang ada sekarang di Malaysia ini. Yang bertapak di Malaysia ini khususnya penyakit denggi, penyakit H1N1, penyakit influenza A, dan yang lebih berbahaya yang cukup membimbang ialah bagi saya ialah penyakit virus fake news. Dan saya harap tidak adalah rakyat kita dengan sewenang-wenang, sesuka hati untuk merebakkan penyakit ini, kerana ini akan menghancurkan rakyat kita yang kita cintai ini. Dan dengan itu saya juga berharap kerajaan gunakan kebijaksanaan untuk dapat menasihat dan mengawal viral yang saya maksudkan tadi.
He said this during the investiture ceremony held in conjunction with the Federal Territory Day celebration at Istana Melawati in Putrajaya on Saturday. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and his wife Tun Dr. Siti Hasmah Muhammad Ali, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail and Federal Territory Minister Khalid Abdul Samad were present at the ceremony. Al-Sultan Abdullah also called on the people to support the efforts of the government in dealing with the infection. The Cabinet has yet to decide on the plan to reintroduce the teaching of science and mathematics in English, PPSMI. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said on Saturday, while the issue was discussed by the Cabinet early last year, no decision has been made, as the report tabled was not comprehensive. The DAP Secretary-General believed that Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, in his announcement that both subjects would once again be taught in English, was referring to the Dual Language Programme, DLP.
Rasa ini saya kena dapat kepastian apabila kita adakan mesyuarat kabinet. Yang dirujuk ialah tentang DLP, di mana bapa ada pilihan untuk membenarkan anak-anak mereka belajar dalam bahasa Inggeris untuk matematik dan sains. I think there's a choice, isn't it?
Lim was speaking at the launch of the Swettenham Pier Cruise Terminal upgrading project in Georgetown, Pulau Pinang on Saturday. Tun Dr. Mather, who is also the acting education minister, had said that the move would allow for a better mastery of the language. PPSMI, introduced in 2003, was fully implemented to all secondary school students later in 2007 and primary school students in year 2008 before it was abolished in 2013. 8 companies have submitted their request for proposal, RFP, to manage the government's fleet of vehicles. Treasury Secretary-General Tan Sri Ahmad Badri Muhammad Zahir said their proposals have gone through several stages of evaluation, including technical and commercial assessment. In a statement on Saturday, he added a negotiation process is underway with the winning bidder to finalise the concession to manage the government's fleet of vehicles, and that priority will be given to Proton cars for use by the ministers and deputy ministers and not Toyota Velfare as claimed by certain quarters. Previously, the Tender Evaluation Committee, consisting of senior civil servants from various agencies, were involved as assessors, and its decision on the eligible bidders was tabled to the Cabinet for approval. Since October 30th, 1993, the government's vehicle fleet concession was managed by Spanco Sendrian Berhad through a concession agreement which expired on December 31st, 2018. The government then decided that the selection of a new concessionaire to manage the government's vehicle fleet will be conducted openly via the RFP. The young dipertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah decreed that Kampung Baru, an icon of Kuala Lumpur, be redeveloped in line with the rapid development of the city. However, the king stressed that the process must take into account the rights and interests of the Malays.
Beta telah disembahkan maklum bahawa rancangan pembangunan semula Kampung Baru ini adalah untuk memperkasakan masyarakat Melayu di ibu kota Kuala Lumpur. Menerusi pembangunan semula ini, hak milik tanah akan kekal kepada orang Melayu. Selain itu, warisan seni, bena dan budaya Melayu akan terus kekal dan diperkasakan.
His Majesty said this during the investiture ceremony at Istana Melawati, held in conjunction with Federal Territory Day celebrations. Al-Sultan Abdullah also expressed his happiness and appreciation with regards to the efforts and commitment of the government in developing the Federal Territory. Various activities and initiatives continuously implemented by the Federal Territories Ministry and aimed at safeguarding the welfare of the people, reducing the cost of living and improving the standard of living are benefiting various target groups, especially those of the low-income group. Among the initiatives seen to have a direct impact on the people are the Go KL Free City bus service and home ownership for the underprivileged. At the ceremony, Al-Sultan Abdullah presented Federal Territory Awards, honours and medals to 188 recipients. 3 individuals, led by Federal Court Judge Datuk Sri Muhammad Zawawi Saleh, received the Sri Mahkota Wilayah Award, which carries the title Datuk Sri. Besides Datuk Sri Zawawi, the other 2 recipients of the SMW are Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry's Secretary-General, Datuk Sri Hasnul Zamzam Ahmad, and Malaysia Administrative Modernisation and Management Planning Unit, MAMPU, Director-General, Datuk Sri Dr. Mazlan Yusof. A special police team will investigate the provocation by an unknown group during a Bersatu youth gathering in Ulu Tiram, Johor on Friday. Johor Police Chief Commissioner Datuk Muhammad Kamaruddin Maddin said police will take the necessary action based on the law without compromise. This comes after Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia's youth wing, Armada, filed a police report. Said Saddiq, who is also the Youth and Sports Minister, reportedly had to climb a fence to escape from a crowd of about 200 young men who crashed the event on Friday night. In the incident, which took place between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m, the group was said to have shouted and called for Said Saddiq to apologise to the Tunku Mahkota of Johor. The minister, however, said he was clueless over what the issue was about. Police said the case will be investigated fairly under 4 sections of the Penal Code. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur said police have arrested 2 people believed to be the masterminds behind the intimidation and provocation against Syed Saddiq. He said they were now looking for other people involved in the incident as well. Tan Sri Hamid said the police view the provocation and threats against the minister seriously. The top cop also urged all parties to respect the laws and not to react in any way that could cause provocation, which could lead to public unrest. Coming up after this break, Nightline's esports segment. Don't go away. We're back now with Nightline's esports segment. Now, to become a professional esports player, gamers require the necessary tools to train for and compete in various tournaments. The main tool for a professional gamer or streamer is a custom-made PC that will allow them to play games at the best high-definition quality with no lag whatsoever. Wanizul Islam finds out exactly how to build a professional gaming computer.
Welcome to the esports segment with me, Wanizul Islam. So for today's segment, we have something very special. We're going to learn how to build a custom gaming rig or custom gaming PC here at Racun Tech. So with me, I have Muhammad Noor Hafiz. He's a technical manager here at Racun Tech, and he'll be helping me explain some of the key components of this custom-built PC. So first up, we have the processor. So Hafiz, tell us what exactly is the processor and show us where exactly is it placed in this gaming rig.
Okay, so what the processor did is to process data, which is to process your software, your programs, and to run your programs basically. And then where does it place is here, behind this cooler.
Alright, so now that we know where the processor goes, the next key component of a gaming rig is, of course, the motherboard. The motherboard is where the processor goes. So, Hafiz, what exactly is the motherboard in this gaming rig?
Okay, so the motherboard is like your the body parts of your PC. So it joins every components, major components inside your PC. So which means you can put your graphic card, your RAMs, and your processor. So without it, you cannot build your PC.
So where exactly is the motherboard here?
So the one that you see is like a board. That one is the motherboard lah.
Alright, so now that you've explained the motherboard, which is basically the main frame, the main body of the gaming rig.
Yes.
Now you did mention about a graphics card. So what we're using here in this gaming rig is a Gigabyte AMD Radeon 5700 XT. So tell us, what exactly is a graphics card and how is it important to playing games?
Okay, so what actually graphic cards do is to run your graphic. So this is the main part for you to run most of your games, because without graphic cards, maybe you cannot run your games smoothly. The graphic card is here. As you can see, the vertical one is the graphic card. So the main difference for a different model is there is high-end model and lower model. So with lower model, you cannot go with high setting graphic. And for higher model, most of the time you can play with high settings, and also you can go for 4K resolution that can run smoothly. So this is where the difference is between the lower end and the higher model.
Okay, so now that we know more about the graphics card, I've noticed something very colorful, very interesting here. These pillars. What exactly are these pillars, Hafiz? I mean, what is a RAM stick?
Okay, so the pillars that you mentioned is actually is a RAM. So nowadays, mostly RAMs is it comes with RGB RAM, RGB. So which means that it comes with these flashy colors. And then what the RAM do is it's like your bloodline actually for the computer parts, which means it needs to be there for your PC to be run. Without it, you cannot run any of your program.
Now that we found out more about how to build or how to customize a gaming PC to make it the best in the level of play that you can get, let's talk to Rachun Tech and find out a little bit more about what they are all about.
Rachun Tech focuses more on giving an easy access to eSport players for better equipment so that they are well prepared and can join more tournaments in Malaysia. Rachun Tech's future plan is basically want to be everywhere. We want to help the eSport communities and eSport players so that they can get the best gaming equipment easily. And in order to do that, we are opening soon in Bangi, our new outlet. And by 2025, we hope to have outlets in every state. In addition to that, we hope to encourage more business owners to open more gaming equipment outlets to help improve eSport community. This will also create more job opportunities for others out there.
Up next, Senate leaders strike a deal to vote on Trump impeachment acquittal. More on this when we return. Don't go away. On to the foreign front. The Senate will vote Wednesday on the articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump, meaning that his almost certain acquittal will take place after two key events, the Super Bowl and the State of the Union address. Trump is to be interviewed by Sean Hannity on Sunday as part of Fox's pre-game coverage before delivering his annual State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress on Tuesday. However, there had been some concern among Democrats over the timeline for ending the impeachment trial and whether lawmakers would have the opportunity to explain their votes on the floor. Under a deal reached by leaders of both parties, closing arguments will take place on Monday and floor speeches will take place between Monday and Wednesday. Earlier on Friday, the Senate voted 51-49 to reject the calling of new witnesses in the impeachment trial of Trump, signaling the end of the proceedings and the president's acquittal. After Chief Justice John Roberts announced the vote, senators sat in their chairs in silence for a few seconds before they adjourned.
To the White House on this very momentous, historic, and joyous occasion. It's been a long and modern trade agreement ever.
A bushfire near the Australian Capital Territory, ACT, grew to more than 35,000 hectares on Saturday, closing a major highway and prompting warnings for some residents that it was too late to evacuate. According to officials, about 6 fires in the ACT and 60 fires nearby parts of New South Wales, NSW state, were burning out of control, with temperatures were forecasted to top 40 degrees Celsius in several parts of the area. As of Saturday night, 4 emergency warnings were in place for blazes across the NSW south coast, with homes under threat and a key highway closed. Meanwhile, in the state of Victoria, where 22 fires were active, one was raised to emergency level status, and authorities issued a severe weather warning for intense rainfall that could lead to flash flooding in parts of the state. Now, before we wrap up this edition of Nightline, let's have a look at what's been installed on the front pages of Malaysia's main newspapers upcoming Sunday, February 2nd. The New Straits Times highlights the Airbus and AirAsia's $50 million bribe claim, whereas the nation's best-selling Malay daily, Harian Metro, focuses on China's decision to allow Malaysia to bring back its citizens from Wuhan. Berita Harian, meanwhile, puts a report on MACC's move to investigate AirAsia Airbus bribery case on its front page. Do get your copies today. In the United States, massive icicles were seen covering fir trees along a ski slope at the Seven Springs Mountain Resort in Pennsylvania as temperatures in the area dipped to -7 degrees Celsius. Let's have a look. I'm Anita Wu. Thank you for watching and good night.